Okay, good friends, welcome. Okay, okay. So we with me real quick. Try and hear me, okay? If you can, please be sure to let me know in the comment section. All right. So this is my first live stream in this section. If you like what I do, be sure to follow me. Right. So please also note that I'll be doing a few jobs here and there. Um, I could, log off for a few minutes and then go put some things in place. Right. So I'll come back up when I'm done with that. Yeah. So I'm doing that right now, so just give me a second. Uh, so in this um, um, session, we're going to be talking about security. Um, we're going to be doing SOC workbooks and lookups. I want you to know that I'm currently learning cybersecurity, right? So this is going to be both a learning and teaching for me, right? So because I found out that the best way for you to learn something is to actually teach it to at the same time, right? Then I teach, right? So I hope you're getting value from this. If you do, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so that you know when I'm coming back live. Right. Okay. So SOC workbooks and lookups. That's what we're addressing. Yeah. So just give me a few seconds to get started. I'll be right there with you. If you're on live, let me know where you're doing this from. I appreciate that very much. Let me know where you're doing this. If you're live, let me know where you're doing this from. If you're live, let me know where you're doing this from. Okay, that means where you're watching me from. That's what I mean. Okay. If you're watching this later, I'm very sorry that I had to interrupt you, but let's get started. So let me check a few things before I actually get on with this. I really wish I could turn off this video because I don't really want, but it's like I can't turn off the video, so then we'll have to be ourselves. We'll just together. I can't turn off the video. I can only turn off my mic, but I can't turn off my video because I want to kind of like I like being able to pick some things in when I'm learning. Okay, so SOC workbooks and lookup. Let's get started. 1 second, please. So that's about this one. All right. So SOC workbook and lookups. So in this session, we're going to discover useful corporate resources to help you structure and simplify L1 alert triage. In previous sessions, which I actually did on my if you have some time, you can go check that out. We did alert triage. I can't even remember. Last time we did yeah, alert reporting, and then we did how to report alerts properly. And then we did let me see. 1 second. If I go back to dashboard, you see the stuff that I've already done. So yeah, we already done SOC alert triage. That's on my Facebook. They also say alert report. That's on my Facebook. Facebook, yeah, the first thing should see that there. Yeah, so but I decided to continue doing this on YouTube. It's more fun for me to do on YouTube. No, a lot more fun. And I'm having some coffee from Germany real quick. I have like a junk coffee. I don't know how they did this shit. Yeah. Uh, how did they do this shit? All right. Okay. So this is the introduction. So alert triage is a triage. Some people call it triage. This can also be um, alert. There are different words for it, but we're going to call it alert triage. Can also mean okay. So let me just define it. Alert triage is a process that has to do with analysis to gather information, okay, about affected employees or servers, right? So this room explores SOC workbooks designed to streamline alert triage and explain various lookup methods to quickly retrieve user and system context. Alert triage just has to do with the process of actually getting alerts um, resolved, right? Getting them, starting from identifying them to fixing them if it needs to be fixed and escalating them where necessary, right? So just getting alerts sorted. Because the functional job of an SOC, as well L1 and L2, is actually to identify, to see through alerts from whatever software they're using, and then um, get them sorted, like triage them. So if you're doing alert triage, one of the processes has to do with getting information about affected employees or servers. So that's what we're going to talk about here. Um, this where we explore the SOC workflow that are designed to streamline alert triage and explain just protocols to retrieve user and system context. Yeah. So we're going to familiarize ourselves with SOC investigation workbooks. We're going to learn where to find and how to use access inventory. SOC, we're going to understand the importance of corporate network diagrams, and then we're going to practice workflow building inside an interactive interface. I hope you can hear me very good. Yeah. So the prerequisites are completing alert triage and alert reporting, practice investigating common attack chains, understanding fundamental network concepts, and preferably be familiar with the concept of swap playbooks. No, I don't know swap playbooks. That's optional anyway. There's no room for it. So SOA stands for security orchestration, mission and response, which is like same, right? They're all just softwares for you know automating responses to alerts. Automating responses, right? It's a solution that has been designed to streamline and automate the security operations, including incident management, threat intelligence, and response. Still the same as SIEM. You get familiar with SIEM because that's what has been used in this um, in TryHackMe rules. All right, so let's get started. Access and identities. Why do you having a night shift? I'm looking into an alert saying that. Mm-hmm. You are logged into this server. User downloaded this file from there and shared it with this person. So they try the alert and understand if the activity is expected. You have to find out from the person who is Jiraja, what are the working hours and rules in the company, what is the purpose and location of this server, who can access it, why could this person need access to corporate financial records. All right. Mhm. So I repeat that again. Imagine that you're on a night shift. And that this person logged into this server, analyzed financial reports, and sent it to this person. So what I want to do is want to find out who this person is, what this server is for, who has it to is, and why this file is downloaded, and what does this person want to use it for. We need access. Multiple access to this people and this system. It not for access but knowledge of those systems. Identity inventory is a catalog of corporate employees, that is user accounts. It's also a catalog of services, machine accounts, and their details, which include their privileges, their contacts, and their roles within the company. For the scenario above, identity inventory will help you to context. Project context about GBK and Arrowlog. Makes it easier for you to decide if the activity was expected or not. For example, you find out that Arrowlog is a receptionist, and GBK is an IT manager, it's an IT department. So what the fuck are they going to do? Financial reports. When you find out that they didn't have access to that server until 30 minutes ago. Ha ha ha. Well, that's what I need. And this is a measure to give you details of all of this information, the employees, the services, right? Production accounts. So you know what is what and who is what. For example of identities. So let's see that. Example of identities. Well, wait a minute. Okay. Example of identities. Full name, this is probably how it's going to appear. Full name, Gregory Baker, J. Baker, email, zero chief financial officer, location is this. He has access to VPN, HQ, and finance. Raymond Pound, US financial officer, US executive VPN, finance. Those are the systems that they have access to. And then these are other users. Backup service account, web service account. That's of entities. So this is where how the inventory is going to look like. And then you also have sources of identities, the Active Directory. For example, on-prem Active Directory and extra ID. What the fuck is extra ID? Active Directory is a directory service developed by Microsoft for Windows domain networks. So information about network objects such as computers, users, and groups. It provides authentication and authorization services and allows administrators to manage network resources centrally. So it is actually present on every Windows system. Gives you information about the computer, the users, and the groups that they belong to, the administrators, and all of that stuff. So that directory is an identity database and it is commonly used by the SOC. So that is one of the sources to know who is who and what is for what. Because you can actually map out the entire users of the systems from the Active Directory, stuff like that, especially from the servers. SSO providers. What is SSO? SSO is single sign-on. Single sign-on is a session and user authentication service that permits a user to use one setup of login credentials. For example, just using a password can be used to access multiple applications. SSO can be used by enterprise, small and medium organizations, and also individuals to ease the management of multiple credentials. So, SSO providers like Google Workspace, Okta, uh, you know, can serve as sources of identities. Cloud Alternative for AD. Yeah, it's Cloud Alternative for AD. Yeah, AD is like local rule-based, like on the PC directly. But SSO is Cloud Alternative, an easy way to manage and search for the users. HRO systems are also a good source of identities. They tell you who is who. That's why I call them source of identities. Bamboo HR, SAP, Hyper, those are all HRO systems. They're limited to just employees and usually provides full employee data. For some solution, they are also Excel sheets or CSV. It's common for IT security teams to maintain their own solutions, their own sources of data. IT department can have a CSV or an Excel sheet of who is who in the organization, and how they assign privileges. So we've seen example of entities, an example of entities. Now, let's enter asset inventory. Asset inventory is also known as asset lookup. So we've talked about the users now, right? People, and how to get access to their identities, right? And who they are, right? So now let's talk about assets, which is the systems in the network, in the organization. Asset inventory is also called asset lookup. It's a list of um, yeah, list of all computer resources within an organization's IT environment. Note that while it's called an asset, can also refer to software, hardware, or employees. This room emphasizes servers and workstations only. For this scenario, assets would help you get context about this system. Is actually a server. I was just in the example above. So here's what an asset eventually will look like. To tell you the host name, the location, the IP address, their OS, their owner, and their purpose. For example, this is a UK data center. The UK data center is someone that hosts financial records. This is also, they have the London office, stationary PC for accountants. This is a remote server for corporate laptop. This one is also a corporate laptop. These are the owners. These are the basic systems. That. So how can you get sources of assets like this? Yes. The Active Directory too. That's the directory can give you not only the identity but also the solid assets. Let me show the please. CM or EDR. EDR. CM stands for Creating Information Event Management System. EDR stands for Endpoint Detection and Response. They're all softwares that are used by security companies. So an organization most likely that has cybersecurity staff use CM or EDR. Examples are Elastic and CrowdStrike. Some CM or EDR agents collect information about the monitor host. So they probably know which host is what and who owns it and what this purpose is for. Also, it's IP address and OS. All of this will probably be available on CM. MDM, also example, MS-Joon and Jamf MDM. This is a dedicated class of solutions created to list and manage assets. There's also custom solution like sales and Excel files. Same with identity inventory. Some solutions are common and IT departments can maintain those. So if they're not available on software, can be found on software. Probably somebody who set it up somewhere actually knows who is for and why such system was set up and who has access to it. Okay, identity management. What is the role of our loan? Our loan is I think I saw that before. US financial advisor. So how do you get value from this? That matters here. Financial, financial records. Finally, there's a file. There's a file sharing from. Does it look suspicious? No. They're both senior cooperative organization, and they just access file from the server. So doesn't look suspicious at all. Does it look legitimate and expected? Sorry. Yeah. I hope you're with me so far. We've talked about assets and identities. Now let's go into the network diagrams. Once you go to this buffet, continue identity and asset inventory topics. Also need to look at the alert from a network point of view, especially in big companies. Mhm. Continuing identity and asset inventory topics, you might also need to look at the alert from a network point of view, especially in bigger companies. Consider a scenario where you have experienced a chain of related alerts based on firewall logs. I want to give some money to the IPs. You see. So here's an example of logs. In order to carry out the assignment of an SOC, you also need to look into the networks and then know what is what. Now give meaning to the IPs. So let's take a look at the logs. This is an example. For example, at 8 o'clock, an IP address this is repeatedly connecting to a firewall through this port. The firewall shows that IP address translated to an internal IP address, which is this. That internal IP address is scanning this other IP address. Not just that, but scanning the network range. And it does not find open ports. Now, scanning another network. Now it's scanning another IP address network range. And the attack seems to be ongoing from one network range to another and to find open ports. That's what the logs tell you. And what do you do? To investigate the case, you have to find out what service is running in that port and why anyone would want to connect them. Then you want to identify what subnet is the IP address belong to and why it would ever try to connect to other subnets. The network diagram is a visual schema that presents the system location subnets and the connections. It's usually an answer to your questions. So more like a visual way of knowing the entire network and where what is what. This scenario, this is this domain port 80, another domain port 443, another domain port 10, 443. This is the firewall, this is the data subnet, answer to that subnet, this is VPN subnet, and this is the office subnet. Outside of that, the internet of the VPN users, web services, and chat accounts, and the chat account. That's just the other. So you get to know where each device in the network exists. Then you can easily map out What devices are connected to your system and why? What devices are connected to what part of this, or what part of your network and why? Is it expected or is it suspicious? The job, figure it out and report it. Depending on the company size and structure, you may see more complex diagrams, but their use for SOC analysis remains the same. Help understand social network activity, help understand social network activity. Our scenario can affect the network diagram and reconstruct the attack path as follows. So we're reconstructing it from here. The threat actor behind this IP address, which we found that here, okay, performed a VPN brute force targeting this. After successful brute force and VPN logging, there was assigned an IP address from the VPN subnet, which is this. And the adversary tried to scan the database subnet, but was likely blocked by the firewall rules. So he brute forced this, got access to this, got a log, got in, right? Got in the subnet and then trying to crack this. But the firewall didn't let that happen. Because this goes through the firewall, actually everything goes through the firewall. Not that I didn't let it happen, but at least it was visible on the logs. The firewall was really let it happen anyway. It tried to brute force to scan the database subnet. Seeing that there was no success, switches to the office subnet, looking for the next target. Because the database subnet is 172.1.5, which is here. Seeing that didn't work, it switched to this other subnet, which is the office subnet. So clearly seeing what network diagrams are and how they can help you when you see an alert to be able to triangulate the alerts and see if the actions you see are suspicious or they are expected. Use this as an example, and then we'll explain what actually happened here using the diagram. So the network diagram can actually help you to see, unlike a visual way of seeing what is actually happening within the network. Right here, the VPN. For the server behind this IP address belongs to. 171.16.5.99 belongs to the database subnet. I don't know how. Because this is 16.15.99. So if you go over here, it's here 172.16.15.0/24, meaning that there are 24 possibilities for this zero, right? No, not really. Not really. Not 24 possibilities for that zero. That's a very wrong. That's very wrong. So I think what they call this zero. It's not the no, kind of like the network range. Yeah, but why I say this is 99 is because this is from zero, and then there are more than 100 and something possibilities or thereabout for this zero. So this is under this, more like subdomain and main domains and stuff like that. If you have a question about it, you want me to talk more about it? Let me know in the comment section. Find out, does the scenario look like a true positive or a false positive? It's a true positive because there's a serious problem here. Now let's go to workbook theorem. So with asset inventory and network diagrams, you can get enough context about the user, the host, and the IP address. Next, your task will be to make a predict whether the activity is safe or suspicious. Forgive me for eating while I'm learning, but you see, those moments in between help me to actually pause, think, and absorb what I'm actually learning. Rather than just reading through. That's why it's a little less boring for me. And also just because I have something to eat today. I usually don't. Forward this if you wish. For some alerts, the analysis is simple, but some alerts will require you essential steps that will be followed in order to avoid missing further details and confusing attack evidence. So now, we're going to ensure that all the steps are always followed. SOC workbooks is also called a playbook, a runbook, or a workflow. The structured document that defines the steps required to investigate and remediate specific threats efficiently and consistently. Since L1 analysts are considered genius, they are not expected to triage every possible attack scenario perfectly. We have senior analysts that are that prepare workbooks in order to support their less experienced teammates. L1 analysts are recommended and sometimes even required to triage their life precisely according to the workbooks in order to avoid mistakes and streamline the analysis. That makes it easier for them to also write reports. Every IT department usually makes their own one. Here's a workbook example. Stages: the enrichment stage, investigation stage, and the escalation stage. So it starts like this. You receive an alert as an L1 analyst. What do you do? This is an example how a workbook actually works. You need to follow it step by step. As a junior analyst, someone with very limited knowledge of what they're doing, they don't want to do all of the investigation, and that's why you do the job. So now you have to do all of the investigation yourself. 1 second. I'm confident that now that I'm done with whatever it is I was eating, I can now focus and get this shit done. It's 4 a.m. here. I'm already feeling sleepy. And I think I should get this over with as soon as possible. So I can bury my head, sleep. Yeah. All right. So let's go back to the workbook example. So you receive an alert. The workbook says next thing you want to do is to use Bamboo HRO to find out the expected user's location. Then You want to look up the IP address that you find in the threat intelligence services. When you're done with that, you want to go ahead and look up the login IP in anonymous detection services. So three sources now, two sources. First, you want to find out the location of the double arrow. Then, you know, you want to check the IP, intelligence services, and anonymization detection services. Now, did it turn out to be malicious? If no, you want to use Splunk to list user actions following the login. Any suspicious actions like MFA reset, we'll get back to that. But if you find out that the IP is malicious, what do? You go to the escalation stage. So if you find out that it's a no, you use Splunk to list other actions that they did. Now, even if it was not found, even if the IP address was not found listed as malicious in this service, it doesn't mean that it is still without risk. Now, any suspicious actions like MFA reset, are there any suspicious actions from the IP address? And not be MFA reset, but do they have any suspicious actions? If yes, then you go to escalation stage. We're already on the investigation stage. But if no, then you want to run Splunk login time detection started for 90 days. So further investigation. Want to run Splunk login timeline that's of 90 days. So we're logging via VPN or from atypical locations. Sorry, I want to run login timeline for that IP address. It's going to tell you, how that IP has, been behaving. Do we find any login from a typical location? For example, it's supposed to log in Tokyo and it's logging in Japan. So it's supposed to log in Tokyo and it's logging in Canada. If there are no suspicious atypical locations, okay, you ask again, does the login time, is it atypical for the user? If no, then you want to close the alert as false positive. But now, if you run the login timeline for 90 days and you find out that yes, it has logged in via VPN through a typical location, what do? You want to contact the user and proceed depending on the user's response. Call the user and ask them if they did that intentionally. And then, depending on their response, you can close the alert or you can send it to escalation stage. Okay? Now, if you find out that they didn't log in through a VPN from a typical location, you also want to ask, is the login typical with that user? If no, then close the alert. But if yes, you contact the user. Okay, and proceed depending on their response. Depending on their response, you can close the alert or you can escalate. Now, on that escalation stage, you have write alert reports and escalate the alert to L2 analyst. So that's the escalation stage. We write a full detailed report of all of the steps that you've done, not general all of these, but kind of like a summary of everything that includes all the most important information: the who, what, why, where, when, why, right? The who, the what, the why, the where, the when. Okay, off the alert. Who logged in? What did they get access to? What were they trying to get access to? Right? Why was this alert popped up? Does it pose any risks? Does the activity pose any risks? Who, what are the computers that are involved, what the people that are involved, where, what, devices were involved, when, what time did all of this happen, you log all of those in, and then you send it to your analyst. So that's typically how this looks like. So I hope you get this so far. The diagram above is a typical example of an investigation workbook that's aimed to help everyone analyze the triage alert about a typical email, a web, or a corporate VPN login. Most workbook diagrams are supplemented with a detailed test guide, textual guide, and links to dimensional resources. Also note how the workbook is divided into three logical groups. By following the steps, the correct order, you can guarantee high quality data triage and eliminate cases where the verdict is made without enough evidence. Now there's the enrichment stage, there's the investigation stage, there's the escalation. The enrichment is where you use threat intelligence and identity inventory to get information about the affected user. Talked about that right here. Using this to get information about the affected user, right? And then we have the investigation where you use your gathered information and CM logs to make the verdict if the login was suspected or not. If it was, then you want to escalate. You want to go to escalation where you escalate the alert to L2 or communicate with login, communicate the login with the user if necessary. Okay, so that's it for workbooks. Usually prepared by the IT team, to help the IT team or the SOC team to help newer people get familiar. I'm feeling sleepy. I have to get this completed as soon as possible. Okay, so which SOC rule would use Workbooks the most? Example, SOC manager, uh, use Workbooks most. SOC L1 analysts. Like engineers. What is the process of gathering the user network, the IP context using TI and Lookups? What is the process? The process is called investigating. No, the process is not investigating. Gathering the user, the host, or the IP context using the TI and Lookups. No, it's not investigating. But enrichment. That's Look at the web example. What platform is used as an identity inventory source? Identity inventory source is used by the Bamboo HRO. That's what identity inventory source. Let's see. Am I correct now? Bamboo HRO. Yeah. All right. So let's get into do some practice. Different systems have different approaches to workbook building. Some teams may have hundreds of complete workbooks for every possible detection rule, unlike SOA automation playbook that human guides. Other teams may prepare just a few high-level workbooks for the most common attack vectors and rely more on the experience and decision making of L1 analysts. In some cases, just an L1 analyst should know how to divide the investigation into modular blocks and build careful workbooks around it. So what we're saying is different things for different organizations. Some have workbooks for every single possible detection rule, while some depend on their L1 analysts to use their experience to figure out alerts. All right. So they just have a few high-level workbooks for the most common attacks, and then they depend on the strength and the strong level making of the analysis. So let's practice. So let's practice the work, building the workbooks. Okay. Open the attached website by pressing View Site above and filling the missing workbook steps from the options. Drag and drop the options to their respective positions. If the position is correct, the options will stick there. Once you are done, receive the flag and continue to the next section. All right. Okay, so let's start this real quick. So let's do some practical right here. This is what I love TryHackMe, but it's all about practical. Okay, so what flag do you receive after completing the first workbook? So this is the first workbook. Oh man, I'm feeling very sleepy. Sure, I can do this, or I have to continue with this lesson. Okay, we're building a workbook, right? Okay. So image analysis. So if I was to build a workbook for image analysis, okay, what would it be? Investigate login events of all the email recipients, the corporate servers and VPN. Continue to the attachment analysis, use sandbox for binaries and manual code preview for scripts. Gather triage evidence, recipient list, sandbox reports, email analysis results, other attack indicators. Fire all employees in chat to avoid using corporate email during the previous over. And then investigate the email using email analyzer is SPFDKIM content and sender for reputation, write an alert report for L2 explaining the findings, attach the triage evidence to the report, write a short alert comment explaining why you're confident that the email is safe and expected, take ownership of the alert, use an integrity to get context for the email recipients. Okay, so how many did they say we're gonna do? This is 6. Is that 6? We're here. We're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. So we want to push this in. There are 6 options here. I want to push this in. All right, you get that right? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. I'm just feeling too sleepy. It's crazy. Uh, is it the yogurt I took? Obviously, I took this. Shit, that's crazy. Oh gosh, don't have taken that. Okay, so let's get to it then. Okay, so first I want to do is this should be one of the first things we'll do, but I think okay. Let's get the email next. Let's get the email and then um all of this is this letter, this letter, this letter. Okay, I'm trying to figure this out. So that's on quiet. I don't know why this two doesn't come in here. So first, what I picked here was I don't want this or I can't remember. I have to start afresh. I say take ownership of your alerts, use anything you share to get control of the emails. Yeah. Investigate the email using EMI analyzer. Okay, continue to the attachment analysis, use the sandbox analysis. Okay, the attachments analysis. Okay. Then if the is the attachment malicious, original fake, or the email is expected, then so we want to write a report to L2. Yeah, I think this should be the final one. This is usually okay. So it means I've been getting all of this one all along, but now this one is not sticking. Say if it's correct, it's going to stick. Yeah, so this probably, yeah. So gather the information. Yeah, I think I really got that right. Oh, really easy. No, and I didn't even know it was. Okay, so now this second one, PowerShell analysis. How many again? This six. Is the file malicious downloaded from untrusted resources or used from a suspicious process? Yes, no, something. Okay, so let's go. So assign the alert to the system owner, the IT, things, that's everything to critical. Send the alert to yourself, get context of the affected machine using asset inventory. Assigning alert to yourself is always the first step in your. Set the result of the win process on win login timeline. Searches, video process tree to find out the current process and account used to start PowerShell. Use threat intel to analyze the URL and perform statistic analysis of the computed executables. Pattern alerts would help to attach evidence assumptions and CM search results. Contact the user in alert via email and confirm the user approves PowerShell usage. Write a brief comment explaining your credit with SOC units in the detection room. So a PowerShell analysis. So obviously we got an alert. So the first one we want to do is to assign the alert to ourselves. Yeah, want to assign the alert to ourselves. That's always the first thing you want to do. Then after that, you want to to analyze the URL. Probably that should be the one. Yeah, analyze the URL. And then analyze the URL. Yeah, analyze the URL. Perform static analysis of the downloaded executables. If you are done with that, I think you can also do more things too. No, assign not yet. Not yet. See the result of when process tree. Contact the user, write a brief comment. Now we are still in enrichment. With the process tree to find out the parent process account. Okay, hang on for a moment. Okay. So, data analysis, collect your evidence. Sorry, I lost my sound for a moment there. So, let's continue there. All right. So, data analysis, collect your evidence. Attack and branch, scan ports at IP context. This ports scan by IP, find out which services could be running on the ports. Okay, if source is corporate, those ability to verify if the scanning pattern is expected. Write an alert, comment explaining your verdict, or reach out to SOC engineers within the role. Usually that is it. You know, assign the alert to yourself. Usually the first step, get the IP context from the network map and asset inventory. Use CDR to verify if there are any alerts related to data acquisition attempts. Write an alert report explaining your verdict and attach evidence for L2 review. And open ports on the source IP and our services are running. Okay, so identify this is usually the first step. This is usually the second step. Can't open ports. What? Wait a minute. After assigning it to yourself, okay, lose it because can yeah, so that's one. Okay, no, wait. Okay, so first one assign it to yourself, then lose the ports. Okay, and then I want to investigate the ports. Okay, collect evidence. Yeah, no, wait. I have to calm down a bit more and take out guesswork. Collect evidence. Uh, So first, we've assigned it to yourself. We've gotten the IP context and network map and asset inventory. So we've listed the ports by IP and out which ones could be running. Which ones could be running on the port. Yeah. So right. Okay. Now, yeah, is this corporate or the whereby an important is expected? Yeah, this is a possible. So yeah, this is probably just going to be like this now. Actually, that then this is probably going to be like this is probably going to be here. Yeah. So um, this is probably going to be here. Yeah. Yeah, I want to scan it, see if it's expected. If it's yes, collect the evidence should be right up there. Yeah. Collect the evidence and then report it. Oh yeah, so this was found. Yeah. So we did set up all of that workbook. So it's generally that the workbook is just a file that is used to, guide analysts step by step on what to do when they actually see certain type of attacks, certain type of alerts, starting from when they see the alert, when they actually can do that, get information. First step is, what is first step again? The first step is enrichment, getting from as much information as they can about the threats and about the users of the systems. And they want to go ahead and investigate it, using tools and um, provisions that they have available to investigate all of that, and then they escalate it. If they find something, or they close it, make a comment. Here it is nothing. So, in conclusion, nice work building the workbooks. Remember to use the existing lookups like asset inventory or network map to better understand the alert, and push your team to implement and maintain a workbook to streamline and simplify SOC operations. Hope you enjoyed your own. Yes, I did. All right. Guys, enjoyed it too. If you want me to do more of this, if you're interested in cybersecurity and all of that stuff, so and I pray I'll be able to do more of this because I have kind of like a long term perspective to this. I want to share this on LinkedIn real quick. Should only take a couple of seconds. Yeah. So if you enjoyed this, you know, you want more, want me to do this more often, sure, let me know. You know, you follow, so, yeah, you know, your followership or your comments, you know, are encouraging. So go ahead and give me a thumbs up right there and the follow. Right. Yeah, so I just shared this on my LinkedIn. Yeah, sorry, I forgot to share that out. All right, so be good. Thank you for watching, and I hope you got value. In the next video, we're going to go through SOC metrics and objectives. That's probably the last section of this SOC team internals, and then we're going to core SOC solutions. We're going to talk about VDRO, SIEM, and Splunk, Elastic Stack, and so on. Right? So we go to the next one, and then we close this for the day. Thanks for watching, and I really hope that you got value from this. Peace out.